called scholar.google.com. So it works the same way. However, here is where they've
Is the internet working?
Because I remember it was just like having parents after the study. Just how come it Oh, you can probably type in. Okay, so the website you would go to is scholar.google.com to find your scholarly articles. Now, of course, you can always go through your library databases as well, but since we're showing you Google today, this is another way of finding articles you may also find on the library databases directly with Google. So say I wanted to research the disadvantages of a minimum wage increase. So I'm going to type that into here. So say this is my topic. Disadvantage. And these come, here are my results. Now, if everyone looks back on your shovel list, what time frame do we want for scholarly articles? Does anybody remember? Read it. What does it say?
Last year.
Last year. So we wanted to find articles within the last year. If you first just type in Google, this is not going to be listed by year. So you may find something up here that's very popular, but it's very old. So what you could do is on the left-hand side over here, you simply click since 2018. And this will be your results from the past year. Now, if I wanted to say this article here I wanted to read, dropouts need not apply, the minimum wage and skill upgrading. If I wanted to read that article and see if it was helpful to me, if there's a link over here on the right-hand side, this gives you a direct access to that article right away. So here's the article I wanted to look at. Now again, because these are scholarly articles, some of them may be very, very long. They may be like 40 pages long. You don't want to read the whole thing, and you don't have to. Sometimes you can get a lot of the information about what the article is about in your abstract. So if you just read this here, you might be able to say easily, oh, this works for my topic or this doesn't work. If you keep scrolling through, a lot of times they have subheadings. And the subheadings, the first probably a paragraph or so can give you more information, so you can see if you, again, want to look at this article further. And sometimes you can also glean a lot of information from the conclusion. So don't feel you have to read the entire article. You can kind of read a little bit, pieces of it, to see if it works for you. So that's how you would get into this article directly from Google Scholars over here. Now there may be times, for instance, found a top article on the second page here that I wanted to look at. So for instance, say I wanted to read this article. I thought this was a good one. Changes returns to task-specific skills and gender wage gap. Here, there is no direct link on the right-hand side. So that sometimes means that the article isn't available in Google Scholar. There's sometimes what's called an embargo on articles that are out there for anyone to access. What happens is a publisher will publish an article, the author wants to get paid for it, and so does the publisher. So a lot of the times for a specific time frame, it might be a month, it might be a year, those articles are only accessible via a database. So for instance, the library here pays for subscriptions to databases, and that's how the authors and publishers get paid. After that period of time, then those articles will appear out in Google or Google Scholar where then you can access them. So here's one example where here's an article that you may want to read, but there is no direct link. If you click, though, the versions button, there are a bunch of versions of that same article. And if I scroll down a little bit, and if I select this one here, you can tell that this is hosted on the EBSCOhost database. So if I click on this, and because you're logged into your library database here, it'll pop up directly from this library's database, and you can read the article because The article is not accessible out on Google, but it is accessible via our library. So don't be discouraged if at first you don't see a link on the side. If you click all versions, you may be able to find a version that you can access via Google Scholar. It'll bring you right to the library database. If you don't see anything like that, you should just try to search for another article. Because again, sometimes the articles that you really want won't be accessible out on Google at all. So that would be a way of doing that. Okay. One final thing. If you looked for an article that you really liked, and you wanted to find something else about that, another article that's similar, you can also click the related articles link. This will give you some other articles about the same topic that might work for your research as well. So if you found one article, but it was close, you want something a little bit similar to that, but maybe not quite that article, if you click related articles, they'll have a list here of many others that might work better for you, so you can click on one of those. Any questions? Do we remember how to select the time frame that you need within the last year? If you go into Google Scholar and you put in your search, you want the last.
There are like date options on the left side.
Yeah, so your date options are on the left. Right here. And if you can't click a link directly and you wanted to try to find it directly, what could you click on? What little piece within the information here could you click on to maybe try to find that article if there's nothing here where you can click on it right away? Anyone remember? Yes?
All versions?
Yes. Click on all versions.
You might want to jot this down. Filter on the left, all versions to get more access. If the links are not where? What side of the screen? Right side. So you might want to give yourself some notes. It sticks now, but who knows on the round 2 next class.
That is how you would find your scholarly articles. Now, in the last class, a lot of people were trying to find scholarly articles. And they had a search. Again, if you put in something right away, you're not going to find everything you want immediately. You sometimes have to play with what you put into Google. You may have to change some of your search terms. You may have to think a little differently about your topic and think, well, what else could I ask? What else could I put into Google that may actually pop up what I'm looking for? So don't be discouraged if you put in a phrase or two and nothing comes up right away. Think a little bit about your topic. There are actually some questions on your shovel sheet, and this prize has, that might help you on the bottom. When you problem solve, if your topic is not researchable, think about these questions, and that might help you come up with some better search terms to find something. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to Google. We're looking at Google to find your news articles, your everyday news source. Anyone remember exactly what the time frame is for this one? Look at your sheet. What time frame do we want for news articles? Yes?
The last month.
The last month. Okay. So I go to Google. And I want to look for articles within the last month. Now, before this class, we asked you to say I wanted to know who the president was when the Angels won the World Series. And the reason why we did that was to show you that you can just plug in a question almost in Google, and Google will know exactly what you're asking it and will give you back the answer. So you don't have to pick and choose keywords. Like you don't have to say president when World Series, Angels won World Series. You can simply ask it, who was the president when the Angels won the World Series? Some of you said you wrote president of the US when the Angels won the World Series, and it'll come back with the answer. You don't even have to write the US. You could say president when Angels won World Series, and Google just knows that you mean the US president. So there's different ways of typing in information in Google and getting your answers back. And that's called a natural language search. You can use Google and type in almost like a question, and Google will know exactly what you want it to say. You don't have to just pick and choose keywords. You can put it in there, and Google will actually bounce back some information to you. So say I wanted to go into Google and find information again on the minimum wage increase. So I wanted to type in, again using my natural language search, minimum wage should not be increased. And here are my results. Now again, this is 2017. This is 2018. I want news articles within the last month. So this is how you would do it on Google. Go to Tools. You may want to write this down. It's a little bit different from Scholar. You go to Tools. It automatically searches anytime. So you would select the Anytime button here. And you just come down here and you click Past Month. And that's it. That filters your information from the past month. Now this information in this little block here, this was my search. And if I didn't love the articles that came back, Google actually gives you some options down here. These are just suggestions that other people who have searched the same kind of topic put into Google. So you may want to try that instead and get something different. It changes all the time. Google is very dynamic. So what pops up today might change tomorrow, and it all depends on who clicks what links, how long someone was on that link for, what other articles link into that link. So because it changes all the time, your results might change all the time as well.
Mrs. Rudolph, I'm just going to jump in here. You forgot. So this is showing them everything, but I noticed there's a lot of .orgs and stuff, but they need a news article. So how would they get to news?
Okay.
Just a news article, because I'm thinking newspapers, TV, news
Right,
articles.
okay, so if you wanted a news article, after you do your filter, you can click on the News tab, and this gives you information from newspaper articles, and this is actually more updated than within like the past month. You actually have some stuff here like 2 hours ago. This is very dynamic, so this changes constantly. So a lot of your news articles will be here. So if you click just on the news link, you'll get news articles there. Okay. One other thing. When I put in a search term in here, Google may come back with articles that have the word minimum in them and the word wage, but they may not be together. So I want articles that talk about the minimum wage together. So if you wanted to change this a little bit to make sure that you're getting exactly what you want, you would click Settings. And in Advanced Search, you could actually put the word, I would put minimum wage, in this exact word or phrase. And then when you scroll down, you click Advanced Search. It will make sure that minimum and wage are two words that are together in the article instead of being separate. So that's another way of making sure you're kind of filtering down the results to what you're really looking for your topic. Now finally, once you do that, you find your popular news article. You want to find a blog or an opinion piece. There's a quick and easy way on Google to find a blog. So say this was my search. If you click the News tab, and then you click Tools, you may want to write this down too because this gives you directly to a blog. So you select the News tab, you click Tools, pick the drop-down box here where it says All News, and if you select Blogs, you will get blogs about your topic. Okay? So if you wanted to use Google to try to find a news source, you might find it on Google. What else should you click if you wanted something specifically from like a news site or a newspaper or something like that? Do you remember which link you would click? So you can search Google, but if you specifically wanted a news article from there, what could you click on? Right, exactly. And then from the News tab, if you select Tools, In your drop-down news, you can select blogs to find your blogs or opinion pieces. Any other questions on how to search the different types of way to search Google for different articles?